Bryan Radtke! How's it going? Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
This is Make a Right Left Here TV, as you know, and our goal is to interview people like yourself who have become successful in your field. But let's get right to it. I'm sure most people don't recognize you from 27 Dresses.
No, they don't.
Because I mean, you did get outshined by the what's her name? The Heidi.
Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl.
Wasn't she in My Father the Hero with Gerard Depardieu?
Oh my God! Yeah,
Wasn't that her?
He's like, oh no, cover that up. Yeah, that was
her, right?
Yeah, that was absolutely her.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
We did share the limo ride back to the hotel. I'll always have that.
Your big claim to fame is you make a living off of industrials. Now, a lot of my audience don't know what an industrial is. So, can you run us through the process of what it is?
There's a number of ways. First off, an industrial is basically a film or a play specifically for some sort of an industrial purpose. Maybe it's a new product rollout. Maybe it's new rules and regulations. Maybe it's a new sales format.
So like if you get a job at Target and they're like, this is the proper way to ring someone up, that
Absolutely.
would be an industrial. Okay.
Yeah, I used to do stuff for MetLife on a yearly basis, and I was always Stan, your friendly agent, and I was always the agent who did things the correct way. I was kind of hoping to get into the ones that the guy who didn't do things correctly. That would have been more fun for me. A lot of the industrials that I've been doing lately have been live industrials. So basically, it would be like 3, maybe 10 to 15-minute plays based around some sort of corporate training, and it came about as a total fluke. As most things that's ever happened to me in New York, and I guess it's you think back. I was taking some improv classes at the School for Film and Television. Okay. And I was talking to this girl in class about how I was doing a lot of improv, and I was doing corporate events with improv for a while. And she basically called me up at midnight one night and said, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know." And she's like, "Well, this person that we're doing this industrial tomorrow at Chase, and this person bailed at the last second, and you're the only one I could think of who has this. You could probably step in and do it." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll try." And that was like 14 years ago or 15 years ago, and I've been working with this company ever since.
But I want to move on to actually the agency. Okay, a lot of my clients who are actors. They always say to me, if only I had an agent. And I try to explain to them, you have to build your brand value first. Mm-hmm. However, let's assume they had the value. Okay. What is the process for the audience of going about getting an agent and creating that relationship with an agent?
Well, there's a couple of different ways you can go about. You can do the traditional bulk mailing, which can work. I mean, if you've got a really good headshot and there's something really compelling about it, there are a number of people I know that have been called in by an agent saying, "Wow, this is a really interesting headshot." They turn it over, they see the resume. "Wow, this is somebody I could probably work with." Yeah. Another way is by audition. There are a number of places around town where like Actors Connection, things like that, where you can go and pay to audition in front of these agents. And then another way is is by referral, which is probably the best way. I mean, if you have a friend who's got a really good agent and you've got a good relationship with them, you can hopefully get a referral through them.
Earlier you said, you talked about auditions, like you were just like auditions, and you get comfortable being auditions. Right. Can you tell me what your first experience at an audition was?
My first audition ever, because I didn't start acting until I was 30.
How's that possible? You're 26.
I know.
29.
So I was working for a telecommunications company, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, Second City's opening up a theater in Detroit. You need to go down there." And I'm like, come on, people don't make a living at that crap. So basically, I went down to see a show, and I was for the first time in my life, I was sitting there, and I was like, "Man, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that." And so my friend's like, "Oh, you think you're so tough? Like, why don't you go join?" So I joined. I took some classes. My teacher said, "Hey, we've got open auditions for main stage next week. You gotta go." And I'm like, "I've never been on an audition in my life." Like, he's like, "No, you promised me, you go." I said, "Okay." So I went in there, 125 people auditioned. 25 people got callbacks.
Yeah.
I was one of them. I was I didn't even know what I was doing. Like I knew improv and stuff, but like I was just totally like, all right, I'm just gonna play the game. Like, when they called to the point when they called me that night saying, hey, we're giving you a callback. I didn't even know what a callback was.
Like, aren't you talking to me now? This is
and that was the conversation. And like people are laughing on the other end, thinking I'm trying to make a joke. I'm like, look, I'm being totally serious with you. I have no idea what this means. And they're like, it means you have to come back tomorrow for a 4-hour audition. And I'm like, and so I was like, oh shit, man, I gotta call my boss. So that was my first audition.
I do want to finish up though with a question that I ask everybody, and the question is: if you could go back to the day you first decided and jumped into being an actor, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh man, 1,000 things. Because again, like I was already like in my 30s, like, and it was like, I think the one thing is just like, be okay failing. Be okay not getting the result that you want on stage. Because from an improv place, like it's like this competitive, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get the joke, and then I'm gonna get the joke after the joke, and then I'm gonna get the blackout, and then I'm gonna, like everybody's trying to get that thing, or I'm gonna have the funny one-liner that everyone's gonna leave the stage, thinking about, and it's like, for me, it's like, look, during the course of a show, and I didn't know this then, I didn't know anything. You get caught up in all of these other voices, and it's like, and just like for everything else, I guess kind of the theme of today is like, can you get comfortable with who you are and what you bring? And I would just tell myself, look, you know what? You're gonna learn a lot, and you're gonna have a lot of cool stuff that you're gonna bring to the party here. So trust yourself a little bit more, and try not to force yourself into a place that you're not ready to go yet. Chill out a little bit and just enjoy being present. You know?
I like that. So basically, what Bryan's saying is, feel comfortable failing, because without failure, you cannot learn. Without learning, you cannot grow. And I'd like to say thank you, Bryan, for having an interview with our beards.
Absolutely.
And of course, look for him in 27 Dresses, coming out, how many years ago?
Was it 2008, maybe?
2008. Catherine Heigl before she was married.
Please, go on Netflix, man. I need that, 4-cent check.
But again, thank you very much, and have a great night.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
What is her name?
Oh dear.
That's happened to actually, what's her name? The Warren Beatty's sister. What's her name? Oh wow, I lost the name.
I'm
You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I know.
Though.
I see the face.
It's her sister. She's old.
Yeah.
She was. Luckily, I could cut this in post.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You can freeze frame it somehow. I don't know.